Hello students, in the last video you are introduced with the use of convolution theorem to find inverse Laplace transform. As this method is very important as far as university exam is concerned, so you need to have more practice of variety of examples to find inverse Laplace transform using this method. In the last video, I have covered solution of two different types of examples. Now in this video, I will cover two more types of examples. So here we are going to continue to find inverse Laplace transform using the method of convolution theorem. The question will be same. Before that, we may recall the procedure of applying convolution theorem. First step, to write f bar of s as a product of two functions of s, f1 bar and f2 bar, and f2 bar to be selected as a simple function than or as compared to f1 bar. Now you have to find inverse Laplace transform of these f1 bar and f2 bar functions. Call them as f1 of u and f2 of u, and the final important step is to apply the convolution theorem, where you are going to integrate this integrand within the limit 0 to t with respect to u. And as this method is involving integration, so you require the frequently used integration results. Some of them are integration of e raised to x with respect to x. Second one, integration of e raised to x into sin bx with respect to x. Third one, integration of e raised to x into cos bx with respect to x. And most important, generalized rule of integration by parts. We have discussed all these results in the previous video. Now we will go directly to solve the examples. The question will be same. Find the inverse LT of the following functions by using convolution theorem. As already told, you are going to apply convolution theorem method when it is clearly mentioned in the question. Otherwise, you may apply method of partial fraction, you may apply method of differentiation of f bar of s, differentiation of f of t, or integration of f of t method as per the given function of s. The first example here we are going to discuss is 1 upon s plus 3 into s minus 1. This is very simple example and the solution is very simple, can be easily obtained in few steps while taking integration. So here you have to split the terms or the function of s as 1 upon s plus 3 into 1 upon s minus 1. Here even both the functions are simple, still I have taken 1 upon s plus 3 as f1 bar of s and f2 bar of s as 1 upon s minus 1. Now these two results are very similar to 1 upon s plus a and 1 upon s minus a, the standard results for the LT of e raised to at and e raised to minus at. So after taking inverse LT of f1 bar of s and f2 bar of s, we get the f1 of u as e raised to minus 3u and f2 of u as e raised to u. So here both f1 and f2 are the exponential functions. Now the last step, to apply the convolution theorem. So you have to write its statement. By convolution theorem, L inverse of f bar of s is equal to L inverse of f1 bar of s into f2 bar of s, integration from 0 to t f1 of u into f2 of t minus u du. So now you have to substitute the results for f1 of u directly and you have to write f2 of t minus u using f2 of u function, only the change of variable. So here we get the next step as integration from 0 to t e raised to minus 3u into e raised to t minus u du. Now by using laws of indices, we can write this second term as e raised to t into e raised to minus u. As we know that a raised to m minus n can be written as a raised to m into a raised to minus n. So using the law of indices, we can write e raised to t minus u as e raised to t into e raised to minus u. Now, as discussed earlier, we know that whatever the term is there which is not having any u function will be treated as a constant with respect to u. So here e raised to t is a constant multiplier, and now by again applying the law of indices for the first and third exponential term, you will get the next term as e raised to t, which is constant with respect to u outside the integration, and integration from 0 to t of e raised to minus 4u. As we know that by laws of indices, a raised to m into a raised to n is equal to a raised to m plus n. So when the bases are same, you have to add the indices. So it gives us integrand very simple, a single function as e raised to minus 4u. Now here you have to apply the integration result for e raised to ax with respect to x, and the result is e raised to ax upon a plus c if it is indefinite. Since it is definite, no need to write this plus c. So here after taking that integration, we get the term as e raised to t into e raised to minus 4u divided by minus 4, as here a equal to minus 4, and the upper limit for u is t and the lower limit is 0. So taking minus 4 outside the bracket, we get e raised to t by minus 4. Upper limit value is e raised to minus 4t, lower limit value is e raised to 0, that is 1. Now taking this minus sign inside the square bracket, we get the final answer as e raised to t by 4 into 1 minus e raised to minus 4t. So this is your required answer as a inverse LT of the given function of 1 upon s plus 3 into s minus 1. So this is very simple example where you have got f1 and f2 of u functions as exponential functions, so that here the integration becomes very simple. Now the second example, this is somewhat complicated, or we can say that here we are going to use one previously studied method, that is use of shifting theorem to find inverse LT. We will see the solution. This is f bar of s. You have to write it as a product of two functions of s. Now see here, we can write this numerator s square plus s as s into s plus 1. We can take s common, so it can be written as s into s plus 1, so that we can split this complete function like this, that is s upon s square plus 1 into s plus 1 upon s plus 1 bracket square plus 1. Since this is complicated as compared to this one, we are going to change the sequence. So we get here these two terms written in reverse order, or after changing the sequence, as s plus 1 upon s plus 1 bracket square plus 1 into s upon s square plus 1, so that inverse LT of this function will be simpler than inverse LT of this function. So you have to now find inverse LT of f1 bar and f2 bar. Here, while finding inverse LT of f1 bar, as s square plus 2s plus 1 is written as s plus 1 bracket square plus 1, numerator and denominator containing s with s plus 1 form. So here, applying shifting theorem, we get first e raised to minus u, so that the term becomes simple to L inverse of s upon s square plus 1, and its inverse LT is, as per the standard result, cos u. So this is your first function f1 of u. Now the second function is very similar, cos u. the standard result. So f2 of u is your simple function as cos u. Now the last step to apply convolution theorem. So here you have to write this general statement and you have to write by convolution theorem. You are writing this general statement. Remember, some of the examiners allot 1 mark to write this result. So after writing the result and replacing f1 and f2 by their corresponding functions, we get this step. So integration from 0 to t e raised to minus u cos u, this is your first function f1, and this is f2 of t minus u. So cos u becomes cos of t minus u. Now we will collect the similar functions in a bracket. So here exponential function e raised to minus u and cos u from the first function is written along with the second function cos of t minus u. You may observe here that the square bracket is a product of two cos terms. So as seen in the previous example, you have to apply here cos a cos b formula to simplify the function. So applying that result, that is cos a cos b equal to 1 by 2 into bracket cos of a plus b, that is here u plus t minus u, plus cos of a minus b, that is u minus t plus u, we get cos of 2u minus t. Now e raised to minus u is multiplier to both the terms. So you can split the integration over here by linearity property of integration. So 1 by 2 will be outside the bracket. Now see here cos t is constant with respect to u. So you can write here cos t outside the integration so that the first integrand is very simple function, that is e raised to minus u, and the second integrand is e raised to minus u cos of 2u minus t. This second integration is very similar to integration of e raised to ax into cos bx dx. Already the result for this integration is given. Comparing, you will get here a equal to minus 1 and b equal to 2. See, you have to compare the term by term. So variable term is compared with this one. So 2u equal to bx. So b equal to 2. So applying the result for this integration with a equal to minus 1 and b equal to 2, you will get the integration result within the limit 0 to t. So here integration of e raised to ax result you have to apply. Here integration of ax into cos bx dx result you have to apply. Here a equal to minus 1, here a equal to minus 1 and b equal to 2. And then you have to simplify this term. So denominators minus 1 goes with minus cos t, and substituting upper limit and lower limit for this term, we get e raised to minus t minus e raised to 0, that is 1. Here minus 1 square 1, 2 square 4, so it is plus 5. And here for this complete term you have to put upper limit and lower limit to get the next term or next step in simple form. So we get 1 by 2, which is multiplier for both the terms inside the outer curly bracket. Here the step is written as it is from the previous slide. So here we can absorb this minus sign inside the square bracket. So we get the first term as cos t into bracket 1 minus e raised to minus t. Now here you have to substitute upper limit as u equal to t. With this substitution we get minus cos of 2t minus t, that is minus cos t, plus 2 sine of 2t minus t, that is 2 sine t. This is for upper limit. For lower limit, you get this exponential e raised to 0 as 1. So here we have got 1, denominator 5 as it is. minus cos of 0 minus t, that is minus cos t, as we know that cos of minus theta is same as cos theta. But this is not the case for the second term. So we get here 2 sine of 0 minus t, that is 2 sine of minus t. And we know that sine of minus theta is minus sine theta. So using these results, we get the next step. 1 by 2 cos t into 1 minus e raised to minus t. This term will remain as it is in the previous step. This term also remain as it is. Here plus 2 sine of minus t becomes minus 2 sine t. Now you have to just simplify the terms, as all the integration signs are eliminated, all the substitution part is over. Now you have to just simplify the terms. Here I have collected the terms with e raised to minus t as a common factor. So cos t, e raised to minus t, e raised to minus t outside the bracket, minus cos t will be uncommon factor. From this one, minus 1 by 5 cos t and plus 2 by 5 sin t. And all the remaining terms without e raised to minus t, that is cos t into 1 cos t, and this complete term with simplification as 1 by 5 cos t plus 2 by 5 sin t. Now just simplify the terms. Minus cos t minus 1 by 5 cos t becomes minus 6 by 5 cos t, and here cos t plus 1 by 5 cos t becomes 6 by 5 cos t. Now every term is having 1 by 5 as a multiplier, so we can take it outside the bracket along with the 1 by 2 already present factor, so it becomes 1 by 10, and this is your most simplified answer to write the inversality of the given function of s. So go through these two solutions very carefully with full concentration and with full patience, so you will get the method very correctly. Now referring these two examples, referring these two solutions and the already solved solutions, you may solve these two examples given for practice. 1 upon s into s square minus a square. This is very simple one. You can split this function as f1 bar of s as 1 upon s square minus a square and f2 bar of s as 1 upon s. Since 1 upon s is simple, so its inversality is 1. Very simple. So you can change the sequence so as to get f1 bar of s as 1 upon s square minus a square and f2 bar of s as 1 upon s. And you can verify your answer with this given answer. The second example, it is similar to the second solved example of this video, and you may verify your answer with this one. Here this is nothing but s plus 3 upon s square plus 16 s plus 13 bracket square. So this is your f1 bar of s and also f2 bar of s. While finding inversality of f1 bar of s and f2 bar of s, you have to first apply first shifting theorem of inversality, and then you will get the answer finally after applying convolution theorem. So try to solve these examples and verify the answers. Thank you very much for listening patiently.